Alright, so my name is Ayo. I am Mel's son here, who is the camera person right now. We're about to make dinner. A few weeks ago, I was watching this video, and it was this video of this man in Algeria. And a really cool thing that I saw was a street food called Gartinita. And it is basically a base of chickpea flour with water, or in some cases milk. In this version, we're just going to use water, and then it also has some cumin, salt, pepper, and it also uses some baking powder. In the food processor already, I have mixed those ingredients. So I took around 3 cups of chickpea flour with 2 cups of water, and then I also added around a teaspoon or so of cumin, a teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of black pepper, and then I added 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and I blended it until it is nice and smooth. I already had the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and then what I'm going to do real quick is get my pan ready by oiling it with olive oil, and then I'm just going to pour this in, and it's going to go in the oven for around 15 minutes or so. After that, we're going to also make some vegetables, just like cilantro, tomato, onion, and then we're going to put that on the gartinita when it comes out of the oven. I'm just getting my pan ready. I just put a little bit of olive oil in here. I'm just going to rub it about the pan just so it's nice and greased. And then what I'm going to do is pour the gartinita batter into the pan, and it's going to go into the oven. And then a few minutes before we take it out of the oven, we're also going to grill it or broil it for a bit in the oven, so it gets like a nice crust or caramel color on the top. So I'm taking my batter now off the food processor. Here's the batter. You can see it's quite liquidy. It isn't very thick at all. If you guys have made crepes before, the batter is very similar, or the consistency of the batter is very similar to crepes, in case you are wondering. All right, here we go. I'm gonna pour this in. And that is the batter in the pan now. It smells oddly like falafel, but that makes sense because it is chickpeas. I'm just gonna try and get some of the bubbles out of it. Alright, and this is gonna go in the oven now for a bit. Now we're gonna make a salsa. The gartinita is in the oven and it is sitting at 350 degrees. It's been in there for about 10 minutes now, 15 minutes now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make kind of like a salsa type topping for the gartinita. What we did is at the bazaar in Denmark here earlier, we got this really beautiful tomato, big and fresh, ripe as well. We're gonna dice this along with some onion. We're also gonna use some cilantro, and we're also gonna finely dice or finely mince some garlic, mix that all together, and then top it with some lemon, as well as some red pepper flakes that I have here, and then also top it with some more cumin as well, and a little bit of salt and pepper. And that we're gonna put on top of the gartinita. So I'm gonna start cutting now. Oops. I'm just gonna make not so big of chunks, but I'm gonna make them in dices like so. A really ripe tomato. In Denmark, it's not often that you see vegetable this ripe. But it looks very nice. Nor have I ever quite seen a tomato this big in Denmark, I'll be honest. Alright, and then I'm gonna cut these into chunks. There we go. Let's do the remaining back side here. Put it in. Alright, moving along. Have my tomato here. Now I'm gonna do the onion real quick. Take away this outer layer. And then I'm making the onions about more or less the same size as the onions, maybe just a little smaller. But not
The tomatoes?
That. What?
Onions same size as tomatoes.
Oh yeah, same size as tomatoes. So that's what I'm doing right now. Cut them in dices like so. I don't want too much onion in this salsa. But here we go. Into the bowl with the tomatoes. What do you think? Should I add more tomatoes, more onions?
I think so.
I think so too, actually. Even though I said I don't want too many onions, but I think more onions
So
is okay.
this onion, we were looking at it earlier. It's got a couple of like bruised parts, but
Yeah, but we're just taking away the.
yeah, you know, perfect produce only occurs in the United States, I think, because the United States population and the people who sell, the grocery stores, think people in the United States demand perfection in their produce. So in the States, we actually throw away produce that has bruises and, discolorations and stuff. We got these at the bazaar, like I said earlier, and, the onion selection wasn't so fabulous, but they were still selling them, that's for sure. So you buy what's available, a little bit different thought, a little less wasteful. We think about
Still tastes good.
yeah, I mean, you just cut off the bruised part. That's real life, right? That's just how it happened. But we think about the impact of our food system and our food choices on the rest of the planet. And one of the things that we know for sure is that the amount of food we waste 1/3 of the produce that's grown. It just goes to waste. It goes bad. It's rotten. It's pieces that we don't want. It's too ugly. It's things like that. So in the interest of being more respectful of the planet and decreasing greenhouse gas production, okay, so we peeled off that much onion. Look at that. Wow. And that can actually get composted.
Yes. We have a nice compost system here in Denmark that's actually available for everyone. Now, I am going to cut some cilantro. This cilantro I've had for a while, but she still has flavor, so we're still going to use it.
That's right.
So here I am, I'm cutting some cilantro up. And then we're going to throw this into the salsa mixture with the tomatoes and onions. And then, like I said, we're going to top it off with some lemon juice, and we're also going to top it off with some other spices. Cumin, salt, pepper, make it taste really good. The Gartinita is actually almost done, I believe. But after I do this, I'm going to check on the Gartinita and then see if it's ready to come out of the oven.
So you're saying this is Algerian street food?
Yeah, so it's plant-based Algerian street food. Like I said, though, I was looking at some recipes. Some of them do have milk and eggs in them for a more rich version, I guess. But there's a lot of the recipes I was looking at that you could just use water or you could just use milk. In that case, you could just substitute with plant milk. this recipe that I'm using, I'm just using water and I'm just using, what do you call it? Baking powder. And that's how it stays together basically, and it rises as well. Alright, I'm gonna take in the Gartinita. I'm gonna actually turn it to broil now. It looks slightly like
Yes.
yeah. And actually, I do want to take it out and just stick a knife in it to see if the knife comes out clean, because then that will tell me if I can grill it or boil it now. I'm just gonna see if it comes out clean. I think it does.
No.
Almost.
No. Yeah, a little ways to go on that one.
Alright. I'm going to take my lemon here, and I'm just going to squeeze some of the lemon juice onto this salsa mixture, preventing the seeds from going into the salsa.
So one of the websites, one of the videos we were watching about this said Gartinita really comes from this Spanish word, calientita, meaning
Caliente.
hot, or mean hot.
I just added some of the red pepper flakes, and that's the salsa. I'm just gonna mix this up now, and then I'm also forgetting some garlic actually.
Don't forget the garlic.
Don't forget the garlic.
You have garlic press?
I do have garlic press, but I think it's more fun to cut garlic.
Okay.
Although these are some small pieces of garlic, I'll be honest.
So that's another thing I've noticed at home lately in the States. The garlic cloves are very large right now. They're they're like the size of the first part of your thumb, like right there. Very large. And the paper, the skin seems to come off more easily. So, farmers and food science people, agricultural people are always looking for the next best iteration of the food, so they're hybridizing and growing, mixing one plant with another to get different characteristics in the plant. I wish I knew exactly what they do on farms, but a lot of that is proprietary information. You're not allowed to know.
Just add just one last clove.
We'll do a close-up of you.
Now I will admit this garlic that I'm working with is smaller than most garlics in Denmark. That isn't actually normal to see a garlic clove this small.
Maybe it's that way everywhere.
Huh?
When I was a kid, garlic cloves were about that size.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That would have been considered a big one.
Okay, last piece of garlic here. Okay. Okay, now I have my mixture here. This is the salsa that I've made here, and what I'm going to do now is add some salt, some pepper, and then also some cumin, and maybe just a little bit of olive oil. Mix it together, and that'll be the salsa for the Gartinita. I'm adding salt right now, just a little bit. Add some pepper. The very last bit of my cumin is going to go to this salsa here, so I'm just going to go with that. And now I'm opening a thing of water bottle, a thing of olive oil. Just a little bit of olive oil. I have chosen the wrong bowl, of course. That's my red flag. I think I choose the wrong bowl to mix my things in, but it's fine.
He didn't get that skill from me. He's got other good qualities, though, so we forgive the fact that he chooses the wrong bowl fairly consistently. Yeah.
Sure. I do this quite often. I don't choose the right size bowl for anything. I have a big piece of tomato there. All right, and that is the salsa.
So how does it smell?
Smells cilantro-y, that's for sure.
So for you people who don't like cilantro,
this will not be a recipe for you.
Yeah, you might want to back off on the cilantro. Maybe you could swap it out for parsley.
I don't think
it's not the same.
I don't think parsley tastes like anything, but
yeah, parsley does have a flavor, but if you don't like cilantro, you probably like parsley better than
that's true.
Something you don't like.
Yeah. All right, just very nice salsa with some nice fresh tomatoes, onions, cilantro, red pepper flakes, salt, pepper, and the last of my cumin. And then I also added some garlic. So, yeah. I'm gonna go check in the Gartinita now. Let's see here one more time. I need my, excuse me. I think it's good.
Well, how can you tell?
Because you can't bake it too much. I actually
try it again without that. Comes out clean. Okay.
Now I'm gonna boil it for just about 5 minutes or so. I'm just turning it up to the boil function, which I believe is this guy. There we go. And I'm just gonna let it boil for, oh, I don't know, so it looks nice and golden.
We are house sitting and dog sitting. That's Sophie. Look at her.
She's interested in the content.
Yes, she's been in and out. She was out in the pouring rain just a little bit ago. Oh, and she says no, she's not interested in going out again. Okay.
So this is the Gartinita. What I did is I put on the boil setting for probably 3-5 minutes just to get a nice color on top. And now what I'm gonna do is assemble my sandwich. So the Gartinita is out of the oven, which is right here. Looking really nice and beautiful by itself. The video I was watching about Gartinita usually uses baguette with the, you put the Gartinita in baguette with the vegetables in the harissa, and we have harissa as well. I didn't really want to do baguette, so I'm breaking the rules already by making this for the first time. But what I did find at the store is some whole wheat pita bread, basically. So what I'm just gonna do is wrap the gartinita in this with the vegetable and the harissa. So I'm gonna put this in the oven real quick just to warm up because the oven is still warm. Just gonna put this in there for, I don't know, not even a minute, probably just a few seconds. And then we also have some harissa. We're using Mina's mild harissa today. I'll probably end up putting on some more chili peppers because I like it spicy. But this specific harissa is just a mixture of red bell pepper, red chili peppers, garlic, olive oil, vinegar, and salt. And it tastes really good on just about anything that you put it on.
And we are not getting any benefits from showing that brand. We get nothing.
We get nothing, but it tastes really good.
Yeah,
I recommend.
We do like to recommend decent products when we find them. So that one is clean. Unless you're oil and salt free, then you're on your own. But this, the flavor is good.
The flavor is very good.
Tried another one. Where's the other one?
There is another one that is. I cannot find it. Where is it? I can't find it. Where did I put it? Is it out? Oh, it's right here. This is another one. This is actually.
So we did find another one at the bazaar today, which came recommended by the store clerk.
No. Ooh, oh, excuse me.
That one is not very tasty though. It's rather bitter. Back at the throat bitterness going on with that one.
Okay.
Would you like a plate?
We might have to redo. We might have to redo this.
Why is it hard?
I left it out in there too much.
Can I do a different one?
Yeah, let's do it again.
Okay.
Can't talk too much this time. Like really only 10 seconds.
All right.
Oh, because it's still on. That's why.
Goofball.
Idiot. Oops. Turn it off.
Okay, we're redoing the bread. This will be take 2.
I accidentally was talking too much
and left the broiler on, so those breads got.
But it's okay. We can dip it in hummus or something.
Yes, we can. Nothing goes to waste.
Yes. Oh. Okay, I think this is good enough. Look at that, steaming pita bread. Alright, so now I'm gonna assemble my sandwich. First I'm gonna start off with some harissa. A little bit of harissa here. This one isn't spicy, so I'm gonna add a bit more, because why not? Like I said, it's basically just red peppers, chili, garlic, olive oil, salt, and vinegar. I'm gonna take some of the gartinita here. I cut it like this. Oops. Like so. Smells like falafel. So if you like falafel, I think this might be a recipe for you. Just a little more. Alright, and I'm just gonna go like this, because why not? Oops.
Make it easier to bite.
Yep. Cool. Whoops. No, it doesn't want to stay. There it goes. And of course, I think this probably makes it really good. This part. Now, some of the videos I was watching, it only puts harissa on it. Doesn't put anything else on it. But I think salsa makes everything better, so I'm gonna put salsa on it.
Oh yeah.
And plus, this isn't traditional anyway, because it is on baguette, so we're gonna do it my way, even though I've never made this before.
I think it's always good to have salad if you can.
Right?
Right? So
No one's ever complained, or at least I don't complain. Just like that. And like I said, I want just a bit more spices, so I'm gonna add some more pepper flakes on. And why not a bit more lemon? Oops, I had a seed in there. Okay, and that's my sandwich for tonight. That's my dinner. I have another seed there. That's my sandwich for tonight.
Okay, roll it up. Let's see the taste test.
All right. I feel like this is gonna go everywhere, so if I eat messy, excuse me. But
So we're doing this sort of Mexican style.
that's what I'm gonna
That
do.
would be-
I don't quite know how else to do this.
Yeah, that would be the virtue of crossing cultures there.
Oh, I understand why people like this, actually. Oh, wow. Okay. The Gartinita itself is like soft. It's very soft. And it actually reminds me, the flavor at least reminds me of falafel. The consistency is not like falafel, if you ask me, though. The consistency is much more, I don't know, it's just like soft. It's very good. And then the harissa and the salsa with it also is. Uh-huh. Oh,
Winner?
It's a winner.
How many out of 10?
Solid 8. Because there's always room for improvement for me, at least.
There you go. All right. Dinner time.
Look at that. That's so good.
All right, that's that. It's a wrap. It's a
It's a wrap.
Gartinita wrap.
It is a
All
wrap.
right, bye-bye.
See you.